Shalom, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashemi Hawashai, Bahashemaka Kodesh. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS, to the true leaders of Israel today, and salutations to all of the Akim who do this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen but are not, by way of their forefathers seeds who are Israelite men. The true name of the Most High is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushai, and the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as we're the ones who suffer under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. My name is Akalia, and this video is about the end time prophecies. Alright. And I'm noticing this new disease outbreak that is currently happening in New York City. Now, why is this relevant? Because plague and disease is a part of the prophecies that are going to be happening at the end of the kingdom of the so-called white man, who are the Edomites, right? This kingdom is the last kingdom before the kingdom of our rulership, which is the kingdom of the Israelites, right? Yahushai is going to rule the kingdom of heaven through the spirit of Yahweh, okay? And so that is what is coming next. And so, as prophets, as, those of us who do believe have been set up from the Lord, we are to observe what is going on. And Yahushua let us know of signs that will be seen of the end. And the number of pestilences is a sign of the end, right? A sign before his coming. So it says in Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?" Okay, so the disciples asked Yahushai, "Lord, what are going to be the signs before you return? And the end of the world." So now we have to go into the Greek for a further understanding here. The Greek word is aeon at G165, and it says a period of time and age. So it's talking about a period of time. So it can be read as, "And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the period of time," or "and the end of the age," right? It's not talking about the end of the physical world as we know it. It's talking about the end of an era, which is the kingdom of the Edomites, right? Looking towards that end. Okay, as it says, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, so it is during this kingdom that Yahushua is going to return to deliver his people, specifically of the elect of the nation of Israel. Salvation is only for the Israelites, and only a portion will be saved, which are the hopeful elect. Okay, so in verse 6 it says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." So we've been going through this, hearing about wars and rumors of wars. Still going on right now. But we do know that based off of Bible prophecy that World War III is going to occur. The War of Armageddon is going to occur. All right, the heathen are going to be gathered over there to the so-called Middle East, which is Western Asia, and they're going to fight World War III over there. At the end of World War III, they're going to shoot the missiles towards America, and America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. But before America will be destroyed, the mark of the beast prophecy, which is the microchip, has to be fulfilled. So we're in that period of time where we're heading towards the end game, okay, of Esau's kingdom. "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom," which is literally happening, "and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." So we're heading into a time called Jacob's trouble, which is a time like never before upon the nation of Israel. Okay, a very horrible time that is coming. All right, and these are the beginning of sorrows. So when we're experiencing nation rising against nation, kingdom against kingdom, which is literally happening, and all of the major players regarding World War III, regarding Bible prophecy, are acting up. All right, because prophecy is at hand. Okay, and then the earthquakes are happening by the multitudes every single day, frequently, and they're powerful too. It's a very common occurrence at this point in time that people hear about earthquakes and they go about their day. but it is in fact a sign of the end. The scriptures say to measure the time diligently in itself. And it mentions to measure the times diligently by looking at the signs. And two of the signs are one, the earthquakes, and two, the uproars of the people around the world, which are the protests, which are happening regularly as well. We are very clearly at the end of Esau's kingdom, and all of the signs are there. And then the pestilences and the famine. So there is famine, which is starting to build up. You can see how that is being brought in all kinds of different types of ways, from disease being used to affect certain things like the whole poultry and eggs, and now the cows as well, etc., with the bird flu, which is a disease, and then also the supply chain, which has been hit due to the whole pandemic situation, right, which can be called a disease of sorts, even though we do know, okay, and I have to make it clear, we do know that how they were selling the narrative is not how it really was. But they did use it for other purposes to accelerate towards their digital society, their cashless society, their digital payment system, etc. All right, so it did come about, even though it wasn't as, the story as they sold it regarding the masses. You know what I'm saying? All right, but Yahweh Shemisha is going to be bringing true, you know what I'm saying, and heavy death to the world by way of disease. Okay, it is coming. So the famine as well, that it's building up. But the pestilences, right? And it says pestilences, it didn't say pestilence. So pestilences is a sign of the end. And so this entire year, I've noticed more than ever before the uprising of pestilences and being reported continuously. First, it had the end of last year where they were talking about the bird flu, and they were talking about the quademic, which was a mixture of four different, like the norovirus, the flu, the C19, etc. Right? Then just throughout the year, there has been reports in the news about all of these different disease outbreaks happening, or emergency situations, right? So there was the Ebola scare in New York, with the hazmat suit situation. There was a Henipa virus in Alabama. There was a Marburg eye disease that they mentioned a few months back. Then they brought up what was it? The bubonic plague. They mentioned that is back as well. All right, and there are many others that I'm forgetting because there are so many that have been reported on. So the prophecy is speaking where we will see signs of the end. So pestilences are happening. All right, these diseases. So now, I seen it a few days ago, this Legionnaires disease. First time I've heard about it. You know what I'm saying? And, I've been keeping up with it to see if they're going to continue the narrative with it. So I seen it today, literally today, top stories. Okay, Harlem Hospital cooling towers linked to Legionnaires disease outbreak. So it says fifth person dies after a Legionnaires disease outbreak sickens dozens in New York City. So this is a sign of the end. This is disease. This is plague. All right. It may be happening on a small scale, but when you look at the broader picture of the multitude of diseases and plagues that are ramping up in America and around the world, it shows us the times that we're in. All right. And it just appears that something new just keeps on popping up. And when I say something new, because I know that these diseases have been around for, X amount of time as they've claimed or whatever, but I'm talking about specific to these days that we're in, okay? These things keep on popping up, man. Disease here, disease outbreak here, there, over there, wherever, okay? 6 minutes ago, 48 minutes ago, 34 minutes ago. So Esau is reporting on this, okay? This whole Legionnaires disease. So let me read it. A fifth person has died in connection with a Legionnaires disease outbreak in New York City. So what exactly is this? It is a form of atypical pneumonia caused by any species of Legionella bacteria, quite often Legionella pneumophila, and causes headaches, high fever, muscle pains, shortness of breath, nausea, vomiting. Okay, so people are being affected by it and people are actually dying from it. You know what I'm saying? And remember to take note. It says pestilences. It's not just going to be one big outbreak disease of something. It's going to be a multitude of them that is going to be happening in these last days. Severe judgment is going to be going out. Okay, so anyway, um, I'm actually not going to really read the article because we know the point of the situation, right? Signs of the end, looking at what's going on in the world. Okay, so I want to jump to Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 5. It says, Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Let's go to Second Ezra chapter 16 and verse 17. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So, famine and plague, all right, these things are coming, man. Okay, so when you take notice of the prophecy, right, that I read in Matthew chapter 24, it says earthquakes, famines, and pestilences. So the earthquakes very frequent. The pestilences now are becoming a frequent thing where we're seeing disease outbreak happen there, here, everywhere, and then the multitude of them, right? So now the famine, just notice that, take note of that, is going to start coming in. Okay, there's famine in Sudan, I believe. And then there's famine in Gaza due to the situations that are going on over there. But the famine is going to happen worldwide. It's going to be a worldwide event. Okay, and so this is something that is a part of the prophecy that is going to start ramping up very soon. And the signs are there for the famine to be coming in. Okay, so it says, But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. And that's only regarding an Israelite, because only an Israelite can repent to our power, Yahweh Shemishai. Okay, so only an Israelite would turn from their wickedness. So this is talking about the Israelites who, even when they're experiencing the judgments from Yahweh Shemishai, they will not call upon our power. Okay, they will still call upon the false gods and the false idols. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that destroy the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. So you see, right now, life is easy. Right now, compared to what is coming. Jacob's trouble, man. People are going to be dying by the hundreds and by the thousands. There won't be any more funerals. Okay? The bodies are going to be laying out there in the streets with no one picking them up or removing them because the world is going to be in a state of chaos. There's going to be famine. People are going to be resorting to cannibalism. People are going to be going buck wild and crazy out there, every man for himself. Terrible times, man. And the plague and the disease is going to be ravaging the world. So with that, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemishai by Shemakal Kodesh. Shalom.